Hey gang, this is music lesson number 1. We're going to be using this site here called musictheory.net/lessons. And this thing's really great. It has different categories: staffs, clefs, and legend lines, which we'll go through today. Note duration. I'll just go through some of this stuff so that you can kind of see what's in here. But basically, when we have choir practice, or we have choir performances, um, you have the hymnal, and the hymnal has the stuff that's covered in here. And for what you need to do is you need to understand how it all works. So let's go with um, this first: the staffs, clefs, and ledger lines. All right, this is the staff. It's got 5 lines and 4 spaces within those lines. That's what you have in your hymnal. You also have spaces above and below to add to the staff. Okay, so back in the old days when the monks and the church had entablature where they wrote this stuff, it never matched. Nothing ever matched. They did it all on their own, and they would be able to read their own music writing, but not something else. So this is sort of standard. These 5 lines called the staff with the 5 spaces. And you can kind of see the notes. Well, let's go to the clefs now. So the clef will tell you what kind of notes are written on any particular staff. So let's look at the clefs. This is the treble clef. That's for the higher notes. These are the bass. This is the bass clef, otherwise known as the F clef. Now, why does it look like an F? Back in the fancy days when they wrote those, those manuscript Fs, this thing looked like an F. And between the 2 dots is the note on the line F. Rocket science, right? So this bass clef, known as the F clef, you can clearly see this line between the 2 dots. That would sit a note. Any note on this is just regular old F. Okay, so that means that the space would be E. Got that? E, F, and this is G, F. As you go down, each space is a note that descends. So F, E, D, C, B, A. And since we only have so many letters in notes, this would become a G. So that's a G, and that's a G. So that's the bass clef. Now the treble clef is a little bit different. It's not the F clef. It's a G clef. Now where do you think the G resides on the treble clef? Right there, where the circle thing intersects the line, and this is the note G. So G going up, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Got that? And as it descends, this is G, F, E, D, etc. So normally, that's what you look at. Now, for our purposes, unless you play the piano or organ, we'll be looking at stuff written in treble clef. So the notes, you would know already the name of the notes by knowing where G is. Yeah. Okay. Uh-oh, we just ran out of space to put notes. This is this is funny. So, seeing this G, what happens if we want to write an A? Well, guess what? We write a short line here, and on that line we put a note. That would be the letter A. If we wanted a B above the staff, we'd draw a line and put it out in the space above. That would be a B. Okay. Similarly, if we wanted to go below the staff, this base would be a D, and a line below the staff with a note on it would be a C, etc., etc. So that's how you read music. It's really simple. And I don't want to hear you guys say, well, is it up or down, and by how much is it up or down? This is exactly tells you what notes are on what lines and what spaces. So it's really, really simple. And it's not like you have to know the entire alphabet. All you've got to know is A to G. Now we modify these by sharps and flats called accidentals, and we'll get into that a little later. But for now, I want you to get used to looking at this is the treble clef. That line represents the note G. So like Sesame Street, this is presented and given to you by the letter G. Right there, that red line. Okay? So that is what you would do for the treble clef. Down below would be another set of 5 lines as the bass clef and the staff below. And if you wanted to imagine what it looks like, the grand staff is all these lines. Guess what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Middle C is this line. Then you got the bass staff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what would happen if you got rid of the middle C. You get that. Pretty cool, huh? Now, when you add the treble clef and the bass clef, you add that and it looks like this. Remember now, what is this line? G. What is this line between the 2 dots? F. Okay, great. So that is pretty much what I want you to understand today. And we are going to go next to something called intervals, because that's the next most important thing. Well, okay, I'll take it back. We're going to do a time signature first. I don't want to get into note duration because that's going to be the next lesson, but time signature. When you open your hymnal, you're going to see this. You're going to see your clef, okay? And the time signature is something they add in front of it, like this, okay? This is 4, 4. This in the next bar is 3, 4. So this is 4 quarter notes in a bar. You don't get anything more or less. You get exactly 4, 4. It's like 4 quarters in a dollar. You don't get any more, you don't get any less. This would be 3, 4, the time signature for 3 beats. 3 quarter notes in a bar. So this is like a waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The count for this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now there are far more exotic time signatures than this, like 7/16, and I play that kind of crazy stuff all the time. But that's not what we sing in choir, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Okay. Next, we'll discuss non-quarter note time signatures, which would be like that. These are 8th note pulses in a bar. So this would be 6 8th notes. So the count would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 3/2. So 3 half notes. The half notes would be longer, obviously. So this would be 1, 2, 3, or 1, and 2 and 3. And these are very interesting divisions, and it's meant to accentuate the phrasing of the hymn. Let's go back to this. This is really neat. You'll find a lot of this stuff. Again, we're going to do note duration and restoration in the next lesson. Steps and accidentals. These are keys in a piano, and it represents the notes on a staff. And sometimes when you get to the white keys, they have, well, all the time, they have no accidental, sharps, naturals, and flats. They're all natural. When you get to the black keys, that's when you get to sharps and flats. And you can scroll through this, okay? So, a whole step, key 1, 2, 3 is a whole step, like that. A half step would be to a sharp or a flat key. So that would be a half step, 1 to 2. Also, 3 to 2 or 2 to 3 would be a half step. For you, it would be how you hear the note saying. This would be what they call a minor second, or this relationship would be minor second. That is a major second. That's a whole step, not a half step. Okay? So the accidental looks like this in music. You see that in front of your note, you know it's a flatted note. You see that in front of your note, you know it's a sharp note. Okay? It either raises or lowers the note by a half step. Now, if you wanted to go a whole step from a sharp, it would probably be a note with another sharp. Similarly with a flat, it would probably be in the next note with a flat. So you would be able to actually hear what you're singing by looking at what you're singing. And these are just the pitches, because music has two basic elements, which is time and pitch, or tone, time and sound. Okay? So that is kind of what I want you to understand about music. All these symbols have a purpose, and it has an exact meaning. It's not like it's close enough, or it's sort of. Music is pretty exact. All right. So with that, we're gonna go to what a scale looks like and what a key looks like, because now you know what the note setup is based on the clef on the staff. You know what notes are within the natural range and the adjusted range, which is sharps and flats. But you still don't know where it all fits, which means what key you're looking at. And key signatures kind of look like this. Okay? They look like that for a certain key. Now, we're gonna do keys as a separate lesson all into itself. But when you see this stuff right in front of the clef, you know that all of these notes follow a little rule, and the rule is set up in pitch by these things called flats or sharps, and it indicates the key. In a flatted key, it starts off with one flat, is the key of F. It just is that way, okay? It starts off with F. So let's say this is F. We know that's G, so this is F. So it's F, G, A flat, since this guy's on the A space, A flat, B flat, because that's on the B line, C natural, D, natural. E flat, because this thing's on the line of E, so it's at E flat. Anything on this line, if it's not adjusted, should be E flat. Another thing is you're not going to see every single note with an accidental. You're going to know that the key defines all the E's as flat unless otherwise noted. Okay, and so when you look at this key is the first key is F with one flat. B flat has the 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 B flat and the E flat. Okay, the key of B flat has two flats, but this has three flats. So what do you think it is? B was F. B flat is F. F key of F, right? Then you go downwards by how much? 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get two flats. The key of B flat. You go another 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you get to the key of E flat. So 3 flats is E flat. And I'm going to review with you the circle of fifths so you can figure it out all by yourself that this key is E flat. It begins on this note or that note, always on the key, always on the note E flat. And that's how it all works. This is not rocket science, but you just have to get used to the fact that this means something. And when, let's say the piano plays accompaniment for this key, it's always with a certain setup where these notes are flatted. The rest of them are natural, and that makes up the key of E flat, for example. So there's a whole bunch of stuff, but I just wanted to show you what this stuff means, and that's what happened to pop up when I clicked that line. Let's see, this will work better. And so this musictheory.net has all of this stuff in it, and you can kind of look through it because there's no real science to this thing in the lessons. Now they also have another tab called exercises, which is really, 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 really good. Okay, so here's just simple note identification. Hey, guess what? There's 2 lines below the staff, and this is the treble clef, which is G here, right? So let's look at what note this would be. Is that hard? Of course not. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. This note sits on the line A, but it's got this guy, right? So that's an A flat. Let's find A flat and see if we're right. Is this A flat? Bingo! It's A flat. Oh, hey, guess what? They have another one. They want us to do this one. So remember, this is G. It's always G with a G clef or the treble clef. G. Since we don't have H, it goes to A, right? G, A, B, C, D flat. D with a flat. D flat. Let's see if we're right. Hey, we're getting good at this. Okay. Look at what they throw at us next. Let's go again downwards. G, F, E, D, C, B. That's a B with a sharp. B sharp. B sharp. Terrific. You guys are getting pretty good. So anyway, this thing is a great exercise to recognize notes from what it looks like on the staff. Okay? That's one that I hope that you play with and you try out. Again, key signature identification. This is going to ask for a major key. Do you see any sharps or flats here? No. Okay. So the rule is if there are no sharps or flats, which is how you start, it's always the key of C major. Okay. Now, there are relative minor keys to C major, and for C major, you would have to go 1.5 steps downwards to get the relative minor key, which would be C, B, A. So it would be A minor without any sharps or flats. Okay, so they throw this at us now. This is one sharp. And if you had a wheel and you divided it up and you started off with the key of C, you have nothing, you go to the right. You go 5 notes to the right every time you see a sharp. If you see a flat, you go 5 notes to the left or lower. You go up or lower. With sharps, you go up. So you start with C, and every time you add accidental, you go up 5 notes. 5 notes. Okay. So this is telling you it's got a sharp, one sharp. So let's say here's C. Remember, this is G, A, B, C. Now let's go 5 notes from C. C is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're up here. Okay, so this is C, D, E, F, G. We are in the key of G major with one sharp because we go up every time there's a sharp added. We go up from C. So this would be G major. Let's try that. Pretty good. You got a greeny thing on the G. Now we got 4 of these guys. 4 of these guys. 4 sharps. So let's start, instead of this one here, this C, let's start a line below the staff for the C to figure this one out. So C, we go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's D major, right? Right? I mean G major, right? G major. Then we got another sharp. So we got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's D major with the 2 sharps. Okay? 2 sharps. These 2 sharps. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then goes up again and down again. So that's D major, but we add 2 more sharps. So let's go from D, since you can't go with the sky here. D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A major would be 3 sharps. And we're going up some more. A, 2, 3, 4, 5. That line is E. So 4 sharps is E major. Bingo. Okay, you got that? Again, remember, 2 sharps. We have C, one line here. D, E, F, G. That gives us 1 sharp. Then we go up another sharp because we have 2 sharps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That line is D. That's D major. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. Okay, so then you can do this thing called interval identification. And more importantly than this, we'll go over this later, but more importantly, I would like for you to try playing with this interval ear training. Okay? Note ear training and interval ear training. So this is note, question note, da da. So C, and then lower by how many notes? C, lower, huh? C, B, A, G. See? So you need to be able to hear what the notes are, or what's being played and what it's asking you for this and that. This is the first time I opened this guy. Now the other one is the interval identification, and that is going to have integrate now the clef, the staff, the key, and now the notes. Okay, and this is a very interesting one. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 notes apart. 1, again, this A, this is G, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So that's 7 notes apart. But it's not an exactly 7 notes apart because it's got a sharp. So it's an augmented 7. You know, this is way ahead of you guys, but I just want to show you the exercise. Oh, it's not augmented. It's a major 7, sorry. Major 7. Major 7. Okay? So you got to pay attention because you can be wrong. So this is one of the things I want you guys to do later on when you get familiar with this program. And this is what I want you to do, that you're training. Yeah, we went over that. Yeah, we went over that. Da da. That's an octave. It's the same note, 8 notes apart. Octave. Is that right? Sure is. Da da. It's the same note, so it's unison. Da da. That's a real famous interval for violin concerto. That's how you learn what a sixth is, a major sixth. So, see? Anyway, that's how this thing works. This is what I want you to start working on because you need to be able to hear what it is when you see something in your head. And that's what all this is for. So, please mark this https www.musictheory.net/exercises. I want you to bookmark this guy, okay? Or you can do it to lessons, I guess. You can do it to the lessons. And what you can do with this is on your own time, go ahead and work through all of these things. It'll teach you the ways to look at all of this music stuff. Another good thing would be called Khan Academy. Khan Academy Music. And this is a really good program also to learn music. And I'll take you through this at some point in time, but it's also the same lessons, and it's very intelligently taught because it's kind of video, okay. And you will see that this thing is a YouTube-based
note represents
program.
Integration of the musical sound. Let's begin with duration of note values. Here are 5 note values.
And this will be for next time.
Note,
okay? We're going to start going to note values. But this is khanacademy.org. And you can call it up by just entering Khan Academy Music, and it's got all this really good stuff. Back in when I learned music, there was none of this stuff. You learned it from an old guy that would yell at you. So you're really lucky that you have these resources to learn from. Okay, I will see you guys at rehearsal, and if you have questions, you can email me. or see me at rehearsal or at one of the masses, and I'll answer some questions. And this is how I want you to do it. I want you to be involved in your own education and find the things that you don't really know about and come and ask me. And if I don't know, I'll definitely point it out to point you to the right direction where there's an expert. For those of you that already know how to read music and are adept at it, there's other things that we can go into. So it's not just a dead end just for beginners. It's something that we're gonna do to get to be better musicians. I can share with you what I know, what little I know, what little I've gleaned over 35 years of playing the violin. Okay, so anyway, see you later. This is the lesson. Take care. Bye.